Before I begin, I need to say this to you. Today, I'm going to tell you a story that still keeps me up at night. A story about the moment I discovered that the person I trusted most in this world had been planning my downfall for months. And I need you to understand something. When that moment came, I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I didn't beg. I just made one phone call. And by dawn, everything he thought he owned was gone. Where are you watching from? And what time is it there right now? And have you ever had to make a decision in 60 seconds that would change someone's entire life? My name is Thomas Bradford. I'm 63 years old, and until 3 months ago, I owned Bradford Security Solutions, a private security firm I built from nothing over 35 years. We provide security consultation for corporate buildings, high net worth individuals, and government contracts across the Southwest. At its peak, we were pulling in $12 million annually. I started this company in 1989 with a $15,000 loan and a pickup truck. Back then, I was doing night shifts as a security guard at office buildings, while my wife Rebecca worked double shifts as a nurse. We had a 2-year-old son, Nathan, and another baby on the way. Every dollar mattered. Every single one. I remember those early years like they were yesterday. I'd finish my guard shift at 6 in the morning, go home, sleep for 3 hours, then spend the afternoon cold calling businesses trying to sell them on my security consultation services. Most people hung up on me. Some laughed, but I kept calling, kept knocking on doors, kept believing that if I worked hard enough, if I was honest enough, if I delivered results, people would trust me. And slowly, they did. By the time Nathan was in high school, Bradford Security Solutions had 23 employees. We'd moved from our garage office to a real building. Rebecca could finally stop working those brutal hospital shifts. We weren't rich, but we were stable. We were building something. Nathan grew up watching me work. He saw the late nights, the client emergencies, the times I missed his basketball games because a client needed an emergency security assessment. He saw all of it, and I always told him, "Son, this will all be yours someday. Everything I'm building for you and your sister." His sister, Emma, never had interest in the business. She became a teacher, married a good man, moved to Oregon. We talk every week. She's happy. I'm proud of her. But Nathan always said he wanted to follow in my footsteps. He got a degree in business management, did internships at security firms during college, came to work for me right after graduation at 22 years old. That was 16 years ago. I trained him personally, taught him everything: how to assess a building's vulnerabilities, how to manage client relationships, how to hire good people, how to handle contracts. I brought him to every major client meeting, introduced him as my successor. This is my son, Nathan. He'll be running this company one day, so you're in good hands. 5 years ago, I made him Chief Operating Officer. 3 years ago, I made him Executive Vice President. I gave him a 30% stake in the company. I paid him a $220,000 salary. I set up a transition plan where he'd take over as CEO when I turned 65 and moved into a chairman advisory role. Everything was on track. Everything was perfect. Then 2 years ago, Nathan married a woman named Melissa. I met her 3 times before the wedding. She worked in pharmaceutical sales, came from money, talked a lot about maximizing potential and scaling businesses. I remember at the rehearsal dinner, she told me that Bradford Security Solutions was charming, but had tremendous untapped growth opportunity. I smiled and nodded. I thought she was just being enthusiastic. Rebecca whispered to me that night, "I don't trust her, Tom. Something about her feels calculating." I told my wife she was being overprotective. Nathan was 38 years old. He could choose his own wife. I was wrong. About 6 months after the wedding, Nathan started suggesting changes, aggressive expansion, taking on debt to acquire smaller competitors, shifting from our relationship-based model to a volume-based approach. He wanted to cut our service quality, lower our prices, and chase contracts we weren't equipped to handle. I said no. I'd built this company on reputation and reliability. We didn't take shortcuts. We didn't overpromise. We did the work right, and clients stayed with us for decades. Nathan pushed back harder, started talking about me being old-fashioned and risk-averse, started having private meetings with our CFO and head of operations without including me, started making comments in front of employees about transitioning leadership and bringing in fresh perspectives. I pulled him aside 3 months ago. We were in my office, the same office where I'd taught him how to read a balance sheet when he was 16. Nathan, I said, what's going on? You're acting like I'm the enemy. He looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Cold, impatient. Dad, you need to accept that times have changed. The way you run this business worked in 1995. It doesn't work now. Melissa has connections. She has investors who want to pump $5 million into this company, but they need to see modern leadership. Investors? I said. We don't need investors. We're profitable, we're debt-free, we're stable. Stable means stagnant, he said. I'm not going to watch you waste the potential of this company because you're too scared to take risks. That hurt. After everything I'd built, after everything I'd given him. But I stayed calm. If you want to start your own company and take risks, I'll support you, I said. But this company stays the way it is. He stood up and left without another word. That was April 9th, a Tuesday. For the next 6 weeks, Nathan barely spoke to me. He was polite in meetings but distant everywhere else. Rebecca noticed. She asked if we'd had a fight. I told her we'd had a disagreement about business strategy, but that we'd work through it. Father and son. We always had before. Then came May 23rd, a Thursday morning. I was at a client's site doing a routine security assessment for one of our oldest accounts, a commercial real estate company we'd worked with for 18 years. I got a call at 10:15 from our CFO, Martin Chen. Martin had been with me for 12 years. Solid guy, trustworthy. Tom, he said, and his voice was shaking. You need to get back to the office right now. What's wrong? I said, just get here. Please. I drove back. It normally takes 30 minutes. I made it in 19. When I walked into the office, Martin was waiting in the lobby with our head of operations, Patricia Green. Both of them looked sick. What happened? I said. Martin handed me a folder. These showed up in my email this morning. From Nathan. I opened the folder. Inside were contracts, new contracts, corporate restructuring documents, equity transfer forms. Every single document had my signature on it, except I'd never signed them. What is this? I said. Patricia's voice was quiet. Tom, according to these documents, you signed over operational control of the company to Nathan 3 weeks ago. You transferred an additional 40% equity to him. You appointed him CEO effective immediately. And you put yourself in an advisory role with no decision-making authority. I felt the floor shift under me. I never signed these, I said. I know, Martin said, but they look real. They have notary stamps. Witness signatures? They're filed with the state business registry. They're legal documents, Tom. Where's Nathan? I said. In your office, Patricia said. He's been in there since 8 this morning. He moved all your personal items to the small office down the hall. He told everyone that you decided to step back and that he was taking over. I walked to my office, the one I'd worked in for 28 years. Nathan was sitting behind my desk, feet up, laptop open. He looked up when I came in. Hey, Dad, he said casually. I figured you'd be back by now. What did you do? I said. He smiled, not a warm smile. A smile I'd never seen on my son's face before. I did what you were too weak to do, he said. I secured this company's future. Melissa's investors are coming in with $5 million. We're acquiring 2 competitors by the end of the year. We're tripling revenue in 18 months. This company is about to become something real. You forged my signature, I said. I did what was necessary, he said. You were never going to agree. You were going to let this company rot because you're too proud and too old to adapt. So I adapted for you. Nathan, this is fraud. This is a felony. You're my son. How could you? He cut me off. Don't play the victim, Dad. You still have 30% equity. You'll make millions when we sell in 5 years. You should be thanking me. I built this company, I said. I spent 35 years. And now it's mine, he said. He stood up and walked around the desk to face me. Here's how this works. You can accept the new arrangement quietly, take your advisory role, collect your checks, and retire like a normal person. Or you can fight this, make a mess, drag the family through legal battles, and still lose because these documents are airtight. Melissa's father is a corporate attorney. He made sure of that. He picked up a cardboard box from beside the desk. My personal items, photos of Rebecca and the kids, my old nameplate, a trophy from a community service award. He handed me the box. Your new office is down the hall, he said. If you need anything, email my assistant. I'm busy right now. I stood there holding that box, looking at my son, this person I'd raised, this person I'd trusted with everything. And I realized something in that moment. He wasn't my son anymore. Not the one I knew. That person was gone. Maybe he'd never existed. Maybe Melissa had just revealed what was already there. I don't know. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty. I wasn't going to fight him in court. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to argue. I was going to do something else. I looked at Nathan and said one word. Okay. His face flickered with surprise. Just for a second. Okay? He said. Okay, I said. You win. I turned around and walked out. I drove home. Rebecca was in the kitchen making lunch. She took one look at my face and knew something was catastrophically wrong. Tom, she said. I told her everything. She cried. Then she got angry. Then she said, what are we going to do? I kissed her forehead. I'm going to make a phone call, I said. Then I'm going to take a nap. Because by tonight, this will all be over. I went into my home office and closed the door. I opened my safe. Inside was a folder I'd put together 20 years ago and updated every single year since. A folder Nathan didn't know existed. A folder I prayed I'd never have to use. It was labeled Emergency Protocols. Inside were instructions for how to shut down Bradford Security Solutions in the event of catastrophic circumstances. Procedures I'd created after 9/11 when I realized that if something happened to me, I needed a way to protect the company from being seized or mismanaged. The protocols were simple. Every major client contract we had contained a clause that I'd personally negotiated. The clause stated that if there was any change in operational control of Bradford Security Solutions without my explicit written consent, witnessed by an independent third-party attorney I personally designated, the client had the right to immediately terminate their contract with no penalty and no notice. Every single major contract, 18 of them, representing $9 million in annual recurring revenue. I'd put that clause in every contract because I'd seen too many family businesses destroyed by hostile takeovers, by partners who betrayed each other, by children who thought they knew better than their parents. I'd sworn that would never happen to my company. Nathan didn't know about those clauses. He'd never read the contracts thoroughly. He'd assumed they were standard agreements. They weren't. I picked up my phone and called the one person I trusted more than anyone in the business world, Harold Vance, my attorney for 32 years. The man who'd helped me write those clauses. Tom, he said when he answered, I've been expecting your call. You heard? I said. Nathan's filings showed up in the state registry this morning. I've been reviewing the documents. They're fraudulent, but they're well executed. This will be an ugly court battle if you want to fight it. I don't want to fight it in court, I said. There was a pause. Tom, Harold said carefully, what are you thinking? I'm thinking about activating protocol 7, I said. Another pause. Longer this time. Tom, if you do that, the company collapses. Everything you've built, everything I built is already gone, I said. My son stole it. I want it back. And if I can't have it back, neither can he. Are you absolutely sure? Harold said. Send the notices, I said. It'll take me 2 hours to prepare the documentation and contact all 18 clients, he said. I'll wait, I said. I hung up. I sat in my office and I waited. Rebecca brought me coffee at 3 o'clock. She didn't ask what I'd done. She just held my hand. At 5:17, my phone started ringing. Nathan. I didn't answer. It rang again. Then again. Then text messages started coming through. Dad, what did you do? Call me back right now. Dad, the clients are calling. What is happening? I turned my phone face down on the desk. At 6:30, Harold called. It's done, he said. All 18 clients received the termination notice. 16 have already confirmed termination. The other 2 will confirm by tomorrow morning per their contract terms. As of midnight tonight, Bradford Security Solutions will have $900,000 in annual recurring revenue remaining. The company is effectively insolvent as of tomorrow. Thank you, Harold, I said. Tom, I'm sorry it came to this, he said. Me too, I said. I hung up. By 7 o'clock, Nathan had called me 41 times. By 8 o'clock, 63 times. The text messages were escalating. Desperate, angry, pleading. Dad, you're destroying everything. This is insane. Call me. Melissa's investors are pulling out. Dad, please. You can't do this. This is MY Company. Dad, answer your phone. At 9:45, my doorbell rang. Rebecca answered it. I heard Nathan's voice from my office. Where is he? I need to talk to him right now. I walked out to the living room. Nathan was standing in the entryway. His face was red. His eyes were wild. He looked like he hadn't slept in days, even though it had only been 12 hours. Dad, he said when he saw me. What did you do? What did you do? I protected my company, I said calmly. Your company? Your company? He was shouting now. I own 70% of it. You gave me that. No, I said. You forged documents that claimed I gave you that. Those documents are fraudulent, which means they're void, which means you own exactly what you owned yesterday morning. 30% of a company that no longer has any revenue. His face went white. The clients, he whispered. Every major client, I said, terminated their contracts at 5:30 this evening, as is their right under the clauses I put in every agreement 20 years ago. Clauses that activate if operational control changes without my consent. But I thought, you thought I didn't know what I was doing when I built this company, I said. You thought I was just some old man who got lucky. You thought you could steal what I spent 35 years building, and I'd just accept it. Dad, please, he said, and his voice cracked. The investors. Melissa's father. They're threatening to sue. I signed personal guarantees. I'm going to lose everything. The house. Our savings. Everything. Yes, I said. You are. Dad, I'm your son, he said. My son died the moment he put his name on those forged documents, I said. I don't know who you are anymore. Melissa appeared behind him in the doorway. She'd been waiting in the car. This is insane, she screamed at me. You're destroying your own company out of spite. Nathan was trying to help you. I looked at her. This woman who'd convinced my son to betray me. Get off my property, I said quietly. You bitter old man, she spat. You couldn't stand that Nathan was better at this than you. You couldn't stand that we were going to make something real out of your mediocre little company. Rebecca stepped forward. My wife, my partner for 41 years. Say one more word, Rebecca said to Melissa, and I will have the police remove you from our home. Melissa opened her mouth, then closed it. Nathan was crying now. Actually crying. Dad, please, he said. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Please help me. No, I said. Dad, no, I said again. You made your choice. You chose Melissa. You chose her investors. You chose fraud and betrayal. You chose to treat me like an obstacle instead of your father. Those were your choices. Now you get to live with them. But I'm going to lose everything, he whispered. Yes, I said. You are. Just like I did this morning when you handed me that box and told me my life's work was yours now. I walked to the door and opened it. Leave, I said, and don't come back. Melissa grabbed Nathan's arm and pulled him toward their car. He looked back at me once more. I hate you, he said. I know, I said. I closed the door. Rebecca and I stood in the silent house. After a moment, she put her arms around me. Are you okay? She whispered. No, I said, but I will be. That was 3 months ago. Nathan and Melissa lost their house in foreclosure. The investors sued them. Melissa's father cut them off. Last I heard, they're living in a rental apartment, and Nathan's working as a security consultant for someone else's company making $60,000 a year. Bradford Security Solutions no longer exists. I shut it down completely 2 weeks after that night. Couldn't rebuild it. Didn't want to. But I started something new. I partnered with Martin and Patricia, the two people who stayed loyal. We formed a boutique security consultation firm. Just the three of us. We took 12 of our old clients who called me directly after everything happened. We're pulling in about $2 million annually. We're small. We're lean. We work from home offices. And I own it completely. No partners, no succession plans, no family involved. Emma calls me every week. She tells me I did the right thing. She says Nathan and Melissa got what they deserved. Rebecca says the same thing, but I can tell it hurts her. He's still her son. He's not mine anymore. Sometimes late at night, I think about what I could have done differently. Could I have seen this coming? Could I have protected myself better? Could I have raised Nathan in a way that this wouldn't have happened? I don't know. What I do know is this. When someone betrays you, when someone tries to take what you've built through lies and fraud, you have two choices. You can fight them in the system and hope justice eventually comes. Or you can have a plan that they never saw coming. I had a plan, and by the time Nathan realized what I'd done, it was already over. People ask me if I regret it. If I regret destroying my own company to stop my son, I don't. Because it was never about the company. It was about what the company represented. Honesty, hard work, trust. Everything I tried to teach Nathan his entire life. He rejected all of it. So I rejected him. Some people say I'm cruel, that I should forgive him, that he's still my son. Maybe, but betrayal is loud. It's desperate. It makes 97 phone calls in 24 hours. Power is silent. Power makes one phone call and watches everything fall apart. And at the end of the day, I'm still standing. That's enough. So let me ask you, what would you have done if someone you loved, someone you trusted more than anyone, tried to steal everything you'd built? Would you have fought back, or would you have let it go? Think about that, because you never know when you'll have to make that choice. And when you do, you'll have about 60 seconds to decide. Choose wisely.